Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest challenge fight, the Summer of Suffering Destroyer, the champions that I used, break down the fight, and also list some of the best options. In this video I will also include a total of 3 solos. First one is going to be like by far the easiest one to execute, I'd say, because there's just a ton of room for error, and that is Jessica Jones. And she does fulfill the objective of hero defensive tank. Then we're going to take a look at another solo with Red Guardian, which is also super easy and fun, and then one with Void, all of whom I actually tried for the first time on stream, and all of those guys basically got the solo in the very first try. So these fights are not too complex. The key of these fights is number one, when you get rooted, when the destroyer throws his level 1, is to dex it. Don't block it, and make sure that dex triggers. After that, another useful thing to know is how to dex destroyers level 2, which is quite easy. It's a single swipe when he pushes his face towards you. So when his face is leaning towards you, that's when you dex, and that's as simple as that. Other than that, the one thing that you kind of need to watch out in this fight, if you do not have appropriate levels for power control, is Destroyer getting level 3 with his power gain. Even though in majority of the cases you can kind of manage it quite well once you get used to the fight, and he doesn't really get that power gain all that much, because as long as you are dexing the level 1 hits, you're kind of safe. That said, there are obviously things that help you. Things like Petrify or power control from America Chavez, so on and so forth. So here I do get a little bit greedy. He does smack me in the face once whilst I'm unstoppable. And that's exactly why Jessica Jones is such a good counter, because it makes dexing that level 2 so much easier and safer, in addition to Jessica Jones actually having passive power gain mitigation mechanic up to 70% when she's fully ramped up. And now we can see that the entire fight is just gonna go with me kind of smacking Destroyer's face and then spamming heavy attacks. Dropping the level 2s, obviously, in order to get the Furies, and then weaving in level 1 to get some extra effects, and then you can just go and clap for 70k heavy attacks. My Jessica Jones is 6-star rank 5 ascended. You can definitely just as easily do it with lower rank, because as you will see, I have hardly lost any health in this entire fight, and it is unboosted without any specific mastery setups either. So lower rank Jessica Jones will do just fine. Obviously just take longer time unless you boost up and stuff. So here again, we just dex that level 2. With champions like Void and Jessica Jones and even Red Guardian, you don't ever have to get him to level 2 if you don't feel comfortable to. But it kind of helps to be able to. And here we can see that we're going to be finishing the fight with the full 100%. Okay, 99%. We're going to be finishing the fight with 99% health, because occasionally we do take a little bit of rupture damage. But about as easy as it goes. So what's happening in this fight? We do have special 1 bias, means he will be throwing more level 1s, and you do need to be able to dex it whilst rooted. Additionally, enhanced parry armor break. This node just helps Destroyer ramp up. You can still parry, but he's armor break immune, which means you do not get the Fury. And in addition to that, you're just going to be giving him a couple of charges. However, that should not dissuade you from parrying at all. It's not like a Dragon Man situation. Danger Zone, every 12 seconds, one of the champions goes unblockable for 4 seconds. I basically just ignore this fight, because you're not meant to be blocking too much anyways. Just keep an eye on whether your opponent is or is not unblockable. It can help you to get an opening, but it's not super important. Prayer in the Week doesn't come into the play too much here, because you're not going to be using buff heavy champions, otherwise Destroyers can be a fairly bad time. And then Pressing Matters, while the defender is unstoppable, they are stun immune. That's just meant so you can't parry him off his dash, but you can still reparry him afterwards, or you can parry him when he's by the wall and you're close by. Stoppable, punish heavy. He's also quite heavy friendly, and if you bait out the heavy attack, you can punish it safely, even though he would be unstoppable at that point, because you will get a grid passive that will ignore the unstoppables. Heavy bias to make baiting out heavy attacks easier. I am root special 1, so you get rooted on special attack 1 and special 1 bias. So it's a fairly straightforward fight. Again, you just kind of need to lean into the destroyer mechanics. and that's going to be evident here again. So what do you want to do is get Destroyer to the corner, and then Root is actually helping you. It's making the fight and life easier for you because you get rooted, which means you can't dash away preemptively, and you have a very good chance of dexing out the rest of the level 1, which is kind of like the defensive catch of Destroyer. Either be able to dex his level 2, or stay close to him enough to dex the hits of level 1. If you do not, here you can see that he is starting to ramp up and gain charges. However, we're not too worried about it, especially with Red Guardian, who is buff immune champion, which means, again, slower charge gain. And in addition to that, at this point, I'm already confident and comfortable enough dexing Destroyers level 1. So this entire fight is just going to be me baiting out specials, mainly level 1s, getting my level 2 in, going level 3, and then spamming heavy attacks for the most part. Could have finished it quicker if I had a bit better crit RNG, and also, that said, he just did 3 crits in a row if I used my relic a bit more. But still, we can see that he's at 50 charges here, but that's no cause for worry, because he's not going to get that much more of them. And eventually you do take some of his charges away also when you do punish, when you are knocking him down and stuff. So here we can see again, easy heavy punishes. His 52 charges do nothing to us. We're just spamming our heavies, dexing the level 1, and then carry on spamming the heavies. This is another thing where rooting helps you. Virtually any, or well, most champions are in the range of being able to, punish him with a heavy of your own. Punish his level 1 with a heavy of your own. So again, once you kind of get into the rhythm, the entire fight is just super simple. Spam that heavy. Destroyer is slow immune, which obviously is making the fight a little bit harder, because if you wouldn't, we would just put slow on him with a ton of science champions. But still, there's not much to it. As we can see, we ramp him up just fine. We inflicted physical vulnerability from Relic, which further enhanced our damage, and it was a very easy 2.5 minute fight. The last solo, the first solo that I got, was with Void, and Void's also an absolutely phenomenal and fantastic option for much of this stuff. And there is a Bumblebee in my room, I think, that we'll have to catch later. But Void is one of the better villains to do this with as well. It's not the fastest, but it's just going to be super safe. Man, I am getting worried because it is huge. It is not Bumblebee, it's a... Fuck me. Okay, 1 second. I am just... One second. I need to... Where is pause? Alright, guys, and we are back. What a beast of a bug it was. It was huge, but eventually, yours truly took care of business. And family is safe, and we can go back to recording the video. So, let's return to the fight. And as you can see, Void's doing absolutely phenomenal job. And with Void, even though he has the far dash back, and you will often technically not trigger dexterity, as you can see with the Destroyer ramping up very fast, you do have the Petrifies, and Petrifies do counter Destroyer's power gain. And it's all good then. It's all good in the fight, because you will either completely shut it out, or heavily mitigate it, or even reverse it, depending on which stage of the fight, how many Petrifies you have on him. But it's safe, and it's easy. And it just takes a while. But it is a very satisfying feeling watching his life just expire slowly in front of your eyes. Exactly the way I looked that stupid wasp, huge wasp, in the eye whilst I was crushing it. Same feeling really here. Void is inevitable, and Destroyer is just a bug under his feet. So we can see that, again, the fight's very basic. It's not super skill intensive. You don't need to worry about too much. Obviously, keep an eye on the unblockables, but for the most part, he's going to be very happy to throw his special attacks, in which case, you just punish them, push him past the bar of power, use your own specials, use your strikers to get further. You can also easily and freely hit his block, or even parry him if he's not unblockable. So keep an eye out for all of those things. And even if you do get smacked a little bit, obviously there is a bit of room for error with appropriately ranked champions, because regardless of whatever anybody says, Destroyer does not have 4 out of 5 in damage, and he kind of hits like a noodle. especially if inequity and other stuff is in play. So we can see here that Void's absolutely loving this. He's having his way with the Destroyer. You could say that Destroyer will never be the same after this dominant of a fight. And life's good. You can see here I'm just going to go in for a parry because why not? And we're just going to carry on smacking away at his health, doing somewhat decent damage. This is a 6-star rank 5 Ascended Void. Doesn't have to be, again, as big because you do have quite a bit of room for error. You do take a little bit of rupture damage here and there, but it's not that massive of a deal, especially if you would put on some boost somewhere. All of these fights are unboosted, just as an FYI. And yeah, we can see that Destroyer is down to 20% health. Nothing too crazy has happened in this fight. And because of the way fight works and the way that we don't need to worry about his power gain too much, here I did get smacked like once, but you know, not a big deal. Got a bit greedy. Could have played it slower, but it's fine. Yeah, there's not much to worry about here. Going for another level 1, having extra debuffs on. He's almost down. Easy start for most part. Compared to the Absorbing Man and some of the other fights that we have had to do, like Onslaught, this is definitely not at the same level of difficulty, I would say. Right. So, the best part, the most important part, I guess, the Destroyer's suggested counters. Obviously, there are more. But for villains, you have Void, super easy, albeit slightly lengthy fight. Titania will do the job just fine. Scorpion, Morbius, if duped, unduped Morbius is going to be awful for this. Then also there's Joe Fixit. And you know, you can definitely use others. Just make sure you're not using buff heavy champions. That's just about it. Hero defensive tank, we have Jessica Jones, by far the easiest and safest fight, I would say. Sasquatch hits 2 objectives at the same time. I actually did the solo Sasquatch myself. It worked out just about fine. Took me a couple of tries, but nothing too crazy. Hulk and Hulk, as well as Thing for hero defensive tank. And then for hero offensive burst, we have Spider-Ham. We have America Chavez, Red Guardian, Sasquatch, Cassie Lang, and Kitty Pryde. I have also done the fight with America Chavez and Cassie Lang. And both of those went very, very similar. Not too bad. Again, main things are to be able to dex his level 1 hits and to be able to dex out his level 2. Aside from that, I hope you guys found this video useful. And I will catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all been